The energy vampire. Yup, I change one thing in my life, even a little change, and I have the dark to deal with. Every step I've made throughout my life, it's dogged me, trying to drag my frequency down. The reason I say that I've had the dark to deal with, of course, is because life on the Lemurian timelines wouldn't have been half as severe as it is now on these artificial timelines. Had we been living the lives of Earthlings undisturbed by the controlling death culture that's fallen upon us, suffering would have been so minimal if not any at all. I think some people are saying this is just law of attraction, and it is, but the more light you hold, the more you attract the attention of the dark controllers, and they do target you. Starting with narcissistic energy vampire parents, moving on to drug-addicted alcoholic boyfriends who sapped my energy, moving in with a landlady who created chaos at every opportunity, then moving away and living in an low-income neighborhood among the walking wounded, dysfunctional, controlling neighbors that I currently have. It never fails. Growth opportunities abound. Always challenged by the dark. I changed one little thing. I started sitting outside to get sunshine. There's a common area between 3 apartments, and I've been sitting out there talking to my next door neighbors. We've been enjoying barbecues and fires and just relaxing. I used to go to the local coffee shop to sit outside, but now that we have to sign something every time we go to a restaurant, I won't go there anymore. So this seemed a good solution. Until the energy vampire showed up. He's always lived here, and I've always cut short any interaction with him, sometimes just by walking away and going inside. He's around my age, and for some strange reason, he thinks he has a shot. He's a drug-addicted alcoholic who smokes cigarettes as well. He's on a disability pension and only drinks most days until he runs out of money, occasionally getting himself a meal. He's been in the hospital so many times for internal hemorrhages, and his liver is shot. But he holds on, and keeps abusing himself and everyone around him. He has been trying to connect with me in his demeaning chauvinistic way since the beginning, and I'm not having any of it. I know, as someone who takes care of myself, who might appear to have money because I drive a fairly new car, I might look like an easy mark. I understand the thinking of these addicts because I was in the 12 steps and also had one roommate who very clearly showed how they think, and so I figured it out. I know what they want. They want more booze and drugs, and in doing so, they try to find themselves a sugar mama or sugar daddy to pay their way through life. I've been there once before. I got used and I learned. You will go down with them. They'll break your bank account before they break your spirit. They don't love you, they are incapable of loving, they only love what you do for them. Eventually, instead of their savior, you become the next object in their hatred of life, and then that means they can abuse you and beat you if they decide that's what you need. It stands to reason they are very controlling, because that's what they're looking for, control over you and your money, to do what they want you to do. This control over others scenario is the epitome of matrix behavior, because it is done to get lush for the demonic attachments that have infiltrated their energy fields and who draw energy from you through them. They are set up by these demonics to behave in certain ways that will ensure a stream of your life energy to keep them alive, in this case the constant talking, which ensures you focus on them and keeps energy running towards them while you get their low vibe energy in exchange. He can only lie because that is the frequency of the demonics who are attached to him, that low. So the human is made to live a delusional life, where he envisions this wonderful childhood and adventurous adulthood, but in actuality isolates himself in his apartment whenever he is not intoxicated, suffering from lower frequency moods. When he gets money, he can come out to feed again, tapping his neighbors of their life energy for the false gods that run his life, the demonics. These energy vampires are characteristically insincere, manipulative, and controlling, and they're after your energy. The higher your energy, the more of a threat you are to the dark, and so the more you will be accosted by these vampires in order to keep your energy down. I'm a 14th dimensional, it turns out, so I'm a good source of lush for them. The more they will be drawn to you to serve their needs. My attempts to avoid him aggravate him as he's actually trying to get energetic hooks into me to enable his feed. He is seeking connection, and that's so he can rob me of energy. He has no other purpose. I think this is important to point out as well for those of you who are dealing with narcissistic people. They want connection. The first step is not to give it to them. He's always asking me to do things for him, which might look innocuous enough, but in fact he's trying to create connection, possibly dependency, so he can continue to feed and steal my energy. I won't give it to him. What looks like just an annoyance on the surface is actually an act of malevolence at an energetic level. I am having Athena remove hooks he has placed in my solar plexus area, not surprisingly the area of personal power. That is what they are after, to disempower you. By not allowing them, you keep your power and your light. That's what's going on here. Today, the day after this altercation, I really feel drained and have relapsed in my chronic fatigue. This person considers himself to be the life of the party. Put himself in a group of people, he will always dominate the conversation through his incessant yakking. Nobody else can get a word in edgewise, and you can't change the conversation. If you actually do get to say something, he will come back with yet another lie, claiming to have had your experience but to a greater degree. He won UPS everyone. Also, when he gets really drunk, he gets abusive and starts putting people down and calling them names. Nobody here likes him except the other drug addicts, who go over and get high with him, and his children seldom visit because they avoid him. Pretty sad, when you think about it. You have to wonder what happened to him that he has to live like this, but I can tell you one thing, he has attachments and they are running his life, not him. He is dancing to their tune. I'm hoping we begin to change this world so that the normal human being as he once was, can never again become a vehicle for dark parasites looking to stay alive. That is one of our collective goals. That is why the GFL is removing all dark beings from the planet and why it has cleared out the astral plane. I told him yesterday, again, that I wasn't put on this earth to do his baking and canning jams for him. He keeps asking me to. He keeps asking me to run errands for him, he keeps following me wherever I sit, no matter if I move to get away from him, he just follows me and keeps up his incessant stream of lies. In his grandiose vision of himself, he believes women are subservient to him and there to serve him. He is a major chauvinist, prejudiced and generally dislikable, and he's a real challenge for everyone here. I just tell him to stay the hell away from me, but he won't. He keeps following me, and keeps talking and laughing like I actually want to hear his drunk eloge. When you say no, he doesn't listen. It's very irritating. I will not enable him, and I'm not here to serve his domestic needs. I realized last night he is an energy vampire, and the way he does it is by obsessively following you around and talking up a stream of lies. If you set a boundary by removing yourself from his presence, he'll just follow you, and will keep up his stream of drunken yakking. Me and the other neighbors sit outside to relax, not even saying anything at times, just admiring the sky if it's sunny and the stars if it's nighttime. It's relaxing to be able to sit with others and find out they are more like you are than they have ever let on. Helping them to open up instead of keeping their sensitivity hidden, because I just tell people who I am now, I don't hide my sensitivity. I just tell them and don't care if they think I'm weird. This energy vampire has fired all the usual insults at me, I'm crazy, I'm screwed up, etc., and he can't figure out why I don't like him. He's an energy vampire and he's working for the dark. I figure they've pretty much overtaken everything and he has virtually no soul contact left. It's a pity this happened because he might have been a good person, but it's too late for him now, I figure, and I will not allow the theft of my energy. I don't with anyone else either. His soul is probably so withdrawn that it only just keeps him alive. Ashtar, what do we do about people like this? I figure I'm not the only one who has to deal with energy vampires, seeing as we're living in a world where there is little soul connection and so much lower consciousness. What do we do about people like him? Is there anything to be done for him now? Ashtar, hello, Sheran. Hello beings of light on planet Earth. I am Ashtar Sheran, here to answer your questions and to help you through this period of great change on Earth. As for the energy vampire, Sheran, there is not much to be done about this one. Some are still viable, and with the removal of their entities, they can recover and begin an ascension process. This one, however, is not recoverable. The soul had chosen to live this life in order to make others aware of the severity of life in even your Western world. This is the soul's contribution to the awareness of all on your planet. There are many like this soul who chose a life of suffering so that others could see and to work on their own selves as a response to the toxicity it has presented them. Me, you can say that again. This soul is doing a good job. Ashtar, he is very annoying, I can sense that from you. Some souls postpone their ascension so that others can learn instead. There are other souls who are so trapped within the cycle of reincarnating from one bad life to the next, but this was not this soul's choice. His last life, in fact, was one of great contribution to his community in India. As for his technique of obsessively following you and constantly telling you lie after lie, yes, shielding will help. But it is best to avoid this person because he is so dominated by his attachments. Me, I've asked Archangel Michael to intervene as well. Ashtar, yes, he is capable of creating some improvement, but he cannot interfere with the soul's desire. It is up to the individual to understand the role of energy vampires in their lives, and ultimately that role is to make you stronger. If they are weakening you, then you are allowing them to complete their task of making you weaker, so shielding is a good option, also removing yourself from their presence. I realize that means you cannot get what you want, Sheran, and that is the sunlight and peace, quiet, and relaxation you require, but since he is the other tenant, you have to compromise. Me, why should I when he won't? Ashtar, because you can. Be grateful that you have the wherewithal to be able to do that. He cannot. He is railroaded into this lifestyle whether he wants to be or not, and you have the flexibility to make choices in yours. Me, I figure wait till he runs out of money and he'll stay away from us. He doesn't come out unless he's drinking. You'd think it would be the opposite because he'd be in need of energy spending so much time alone. Ashtar, he needs energy while he drinks because that depletes him even further. Me, I see. Ashtar, try to have compassion for his soul, who chose a hard life, and understand that he is incapable of being any different, he is so dominated by his attachments. As for this man, he will undergo much rejuvenation upon his death, and he will reincarnate on Earth again. He will not be sent to other planets because of the work his soul has accomplished in other lifetimes. Without those who will play the roles of the catalyst, there would be little growth on your planet. Duality indicates that you can pick a life of growth or of being the catalyst for the growth of others, or both. You can have a positive or a negative orientation. However, now your lives are predominantly negative due to outside interference, and there has been little positive change for the majority over the eons, so intervention is necessary. Your world is at a point now that requires some souls to take on lives of suffering, so that their growth and the growth of others can be achieved. Earth is a hard learning school. Me, thanks Ashtar. I will avoid him. He drains me and he irritates me so much that I can feel the tension in my arms and shoulders after having been with him. I don't need an energy drain. I already have chronic fatigue. Ashtar, yes. Feel for the soul but do not enable the personality. Do not give your energy to the dark ones. We need all hands on deck for the light right now. Me, thank you Ashtar. Ashtar, Adonai.